Why, hello there, my fellow stick buddies. What brings you to my spooky territory tonight? Could it be curiosity? Or could it be stupidity? Or you could be curious about stupidity, in which case you came to the right place. Today, for Halloween night, we've got a spooky video. Woo! No, obviously they shouldn't, otherwise they'd be worshipping me, Satan. Professor Stick is a Satanist. Call the exorcist. Woo! Woo. Shut the fuck up.
Halloween, a day celebrated around the world when people dress up in costumes, collect candy from neighbors, and have parties.
I've actually had an excellent childhood because of Halloween. It was one of those days of the years I would actually look forward to. Going from house to house, threatening people to give me candy. Oh hell yeah, I would do it again if I weren't so fucking old. Ah shit, now I gotta give candy. Okay, yeah, Halloween is satanic. Nobody go trick-or-treating. I'm on a fucking budget here.
But do you ever take time to think about the origins of Halloween?
Lol, no, fuck that. It's all about the candy.
Most people don't think twice about participating in it, saying, "It's all in fun," or "It's not evil to me."
Look at those damn kids, having fun. It may not be evil to them, but it's evil.
But is this so-called Hallow Evening really so innocent? Are there ties to paganism and Satanism? Shall we as Christians celebrate Halloween, or should we have an alternative name for it like Harvest Festival?
Just Christians? Well, damn, those poor Christian kids probably get so upset watching the Muslim kids snatching up all the candy.
Before we get into those questions, let's take a closer look at the history of this night and how it all started.
I'm not a history fan, but if you must, let's go, I guess.
Samhain, or Halloween as it is called today, was celebrated on October 31st to November 2nd, and started out as one of 4 major holy days to the Celtic Druids, referred to as fire festivals by them. To the Celts, fire was a symbol of divinity, holiness, truth, and beauty. To the Druids, these events signified the beginning of the cold and dark half of the year. Their belief was on this night the veil between the living and the dead was dropped, and dead souls were wandering the earth, creating havoc and causing mischief.
Well, it wasn't just the dead, it was the Al-C, which could refer to a number of supernatural beings such as spirits or fairies, and they weren't all feared, and they weren't all supposedly evil. Many people respected the Al-C. They offered them food, portions of this year's harvest, and many spirits even went to visit family members at their homes. The fire that you mentioned earlier was not only used as protection from these souls, but also to welcome them. They wanted to appease the Al-C in order for them to give them blessings for next year's harvest, but it was a combination of fear and respect. The fire had many symbols and were used for different purposes, sometimes even opposing ones. So yeah, your claim that the Al-C only created havoc and chaos is incorrect. Sure, later it had its intentions translated to suggest bringing upon evil and turmoil, but it wasn't always like that.
To appease them, the Celts dressed up like the dead souls, so they wouldn't cause them any harm.
Yeah, but that came later. That started in the 16th century. People dressed up as the Al-C and then went from house to house asking for offerings from the residents. It was a tradition that these people pretended to be the supernatural creatures and receive offerings on their behalf. Basically, if you donated, you'll have good fortune for the next year. If you don't, well, you're fucked, aren't you?
Large bonfires were made, and animals and crops were also thrown into the bonfire as sacrifices.
Gee, you're making a video going over the history of Halloween, trying to imply that it's evil or satanic and that Christians shouldn't participate in it. And then you bring up this? Animal sacrificing? Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, the Bible.
Communing with the dead and divination, or fortune-telling, was also a common practice during this time. Later on, Catholicism came in and changed the name of this pagan 3-day holiday to Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, All Saints' Day, and All Souls' Day. As Catholicism did with many other pagan traditions like Valentine's Day from Lupercalia, Easter from Eostre, and Christmas from Yule, they kept the symbols and pagan elements, and the purpose of this festival remained the same too, but just repackaged with Roman Catholic elements and names.
The festival remaining the same? No, it actually didn't. It used to be people trying to appease the ILC. After the Christian influence, however, it was changed to praying for the dead souls who are on their way to heaven, supposedly.
So we see from the history alone, this isn't some innocent celebration involving children getting candy.
Yeah, sure, centuries ago it wasn't children getting candy. So what? What holiday do we have right now where people did exactly the same activities as the people in the past? Halloween has lost its entire original purpose. We no longer celebrate or pray for the dead. We no longer take torches and circle around our houses to form barriers against the ILC.
Oh, but that was so long ago, we don't celebrate it like how they did, you might say.
We don't celebrate it like the people in the past did. That's the point. We've kept the holiday, not the rituals. So if we don't perform any of these traditions anymore, why do you think the intentions of these traditions stay? It makes no fucking sense.
Let me read to you a quote by Anton LaVey, a Satanist, from his book, The Satanic Bible. Quote, "After one's own birthday, the two major satanic holidays are Walpurgis Night and Halloween." End quote.
Well, okay, but you Christians always seem to think that Satanism is somehow related to worshipping Satan. You know that's not true, right? They don't believe in Satan. The Church of Satan believes in individualism, especially against the suppression of human instincts by the Abrahamic religions. So basically it's just a philosophy. They're not worshipping Satan. They're not praying that Satan overthrows God, okay? So now that you know that, how is Satanism so wrong? And who cares if the founder of the Church of Satan says that Halloween is important to them? So what? They're not worshipping any sort of evil.
In case that didn't sink in, Satanism considers this one of their top holidays. Do you still want to be part of it?
Well, your religion is just a bunch of fairy tales anyway, so hell yeah, I'm gonna be part of Halloween, and so should anyone who wants to do so.
3 John 1:11 says, "Beloved, follow not that which is evil, but that which is good. He that doeth good is of God, but he that doeth evil hath not seen God." 2 Corinthians 6:14, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?"
So he then goes and quotes a whole bunch of Bible verses, which don't even say that Halloween is bad or anything. I guess it's just for some sort of emotional effect? Yeah, I guess to a Christian viewer, which is the intended audience of this video, it would have an effect since they follow the Bible's words. But to an atheist like myself, this literally means nothing. I'm gonna cut down the rest of this video for you guys so you don't get too spooked out.
Halloween is filled with darkness, from symbols of death, ghosts, devils, and witches.
Well, maybe at some point in the past it did, but it certainly isn't now. Look, a purpose of this holiday is to bring joy upon people, and they do this by scaring them. It isn't just for children. Being scared can trigger a positive response in the brain, similar to the feeling of romance. That's why people love horror films or horror games. Tip to all you people with lovers, watch a horror film with your significant other. It can trigger romantic responses in your brains.
We should not want to have anything to do with this.
Welp, look at you speaking for all these Christians out there. Yep.
God wants us to be separate. 2 Corinthians 6:17, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you."
Yeah, and you think this unclean thing is Halloween stuff? What the fuck?
The Lord has warned us not to play around with these occultic ways. Deuteronomy 18:9-14, "When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations."
Well, we all know the Bible is bullshit. I don't know why I'm still playing these quotes. Useless. Skip.
Now should we have an alternative for this day like harvest festivals? Alternative, however, implies substitute. It assumes our children need something to take the place of Halloween, since they won't be participating in the secular and pagan celebrations. It suggests our children are missing out on something, which they are not.
Well, actually, they kinda are. They're going to watch the thousands of children outside trick-or-treating, and you expect them to be okay with not being able to join them? That's horrible, man. Of course, if you have a legitimate reason for not letting your kids go trick-or-treating, I can understand, but not letting them go because you think it's satanic? That's fucking outrageous, man. I don't know what I would have done if my parents forbade me to go trick-or-treating. I mean, sure, maybe the children will stop getting so many cavities and stuff, but come on, man. Don't be a little bitch. Have some fun, enjoy some candy, spook yourself a bit. This event is once a year after all, and there's no reason to stop yourself from such an awesome holiday. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching. Woo! Okay, I'm done.